Captain Minho Park stood on the bridge of the Defiant Hope and stared at the massive energy barrier that had trapped humanity for 600 years. The glowing wall stretched across space like a prison fence made of light. Beyond it lay freedom. Beyond it lay the galaxy that had locked them away. "Status report," Minho said quietly. Dr. Yuna Choi looked up from her console. Her eyes were tired from weeks of calculations, but they still held determination. "The barrier fluctuation will occur in 11 minutes and 42 seconds. The window will last exactly 0.4 seconds. If we miss it, we wait another 11 hours for the next chance." Minho nodded. He had bet everything on Yuna's discovery. She had found that the supposedly perfect barrier had tiny moments of weakness. Moments when a ship moving at exactly the right speed could slip through. It was impossible according to every known law of physics, but humans had stopped caring about impossible a long time ago. "Engineering, are we ready?" Minho asked. The voice of Sora Nam came through the speakers. "The engines are running at maximum capacity. One shot, Captain. If this doesn't work, we'll burn out the core and drift dead in space." "Then we better not miss." Minho looked around the bridge at his crew of 200 people. They were scientists, engineers, pilots, and dreamers. Every one of them had volunteered knowing they might never see Earth again, knowing the alien council that controlled the galaxy would hunt them down. Minho's mind went back to 5 years ago. His daughter Hana had been dying from a disease that ate away at her nervous system. The alien council had technology that could cure it in days. Minho had sent message after message begging for help. The council's response had been cold and simple. "Quarantined species receive no aid. This is law." He had held his daughter's hand as she died. She was only 12 years old. That day, something broke inside Minho. But something else was born too. A burning need to break free from the cage Earth had become. 5 minutes, Yuna announced. Pilot Taeyang Ko cracked his knuckles at the helm. He was young, barely 25, but he could fly better than anyone Minho had ever seen. "Ship is aligned. I've got the trajectory locked in. 0.4 seconds isn't much, but I only need 0.3. "Don't get cocky," Minho warned. But he was smiling. The Defiant Hope had been built in secret over 30 years. Pieces manufactured on different stations, assembled in the dark side of the moon where council sensors couldn't reach. It used stolen alien technology from the first contact incident 6 centuries ago, combined with human ingenuity and desperation. The result was humanity's first faster-than-light ship. 2 minutes, Yuna said. Her voice was steady, but her hands shook slightly as they moved over the controls. Minho activated the ship-wide communications. "This is the captain. In 2 minutes, we either break through this barrier or we die trying. But I want you all to know something. Whatever happens, we've already won. We built a ship the council said was impossible. We found a flaw in their perfect prison. We proved that humanity doesn't give up. If we fail today, others will learn from our attempt. One way or another, humanity will be free." Silence filled the ship. Then, slowly, the crew began to clap. It started soft and grew louder until it echoed through every corridor. 30 seconds, Yuna whispered. The bridge fell silent except for the hum of the engines. Minho could feel his heart pounding in his chest. This was it. 600 years of imprisonment ended here. 15 seconds. Taeyang's hands hovered over the controls. His eyes were locked on the navigation display. 10 seconds. 9, 8. Minho gripped the arms of his command chair. He thought of his daughter one more time. "This is for you, Hana. 3, 2, 1. Now." Taeyang's hands flew across the controls. The Defiant Hope lurched forward with a burst of acceleration that pressed everyone back in their seats. The ship shot toward the barrier like a bullet. The energy wall rushed toward them. It filled the view screen with blinding light. Minho couldn't look away. For a fraction of a second, he saw the barrier shimmer, a tiny ripple in the perfect surface. Then they were through. Alarms didn't sound. Explosions didn't rock the ship. They simply slid through the barrier as if it wasn't there. On the other side, space looked the same. But everything had changed. "We're through!" Yuna shouted. "We're actually through! All systems normal! We did it!" The bridge erupted in cheers. People hugged each other. Some were crying. Taiyang pumped his fist in the air. Minho let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. "Helm! Get us away from here! Maximum speed!" Minho ordered. "They'll know we broke through. They'll be coming." The celebration died down as reality set in. They had escaped the cage, but now they were hunted. Yuna pulled up a star map. "Captain, I'm detecting multiple energy signatures. They're far away, but they're moving fast. Very fast." "How many?" Minho asked. "At least 10. Maybe more. They're Council warships." Minho had expected this. The Council wouldn't let them go without a fight, but he had hoped for more time. "Set course for the Helion Nebula. It's a navigation hazard. Their sensors won't work well there." "That nebula is dangerous even for us," Taiyang said. "Then it's perfect. Plot the jump." As the ship prepared to leap into faster-than-light travel, Minho recorded a message. He encrypted it using codes only Earth would recognize and sent it back toward the Sol system. "Admiral Song, this is Minho. We made it through. The barrier can be breached. But the Council is coming after us hard. They're terrified. That tells me we're on to something. Start building more ships. This isn't just an escape anymore. This is the beginning of something bigger. Humanity won't hide anymore. We're coming for the truth." Across the galaxy, in a massive station orbiting a red giant star, Counselor Valthex received an alert. His scaled hands tightened on the armrests of his chair as he read the impossible words on his screen. "Human vessel detected outside quarantine zone. Repeat, quarantine breach confirmed." Valthex's yellow eyes widened. In 600 years, no species had ever broken through a council barrier, not one. "Sound the Cascade Protocol," he hissed into his communicator. "Mobilize every ship in the sector. The humans are out. Find them. Stop them. If we can't capture them, destroy them. The galaxy must not know that quarantine can be broken." The message went out across 12 systems. The hunt had begun. Minho didn't know it yet, but humanity had just started a war that would shake the foundations of galactic civilization. The cage was open, and humans had never been good at staying quiet. The defiant hope shook as it dropped out of faster-than-light travel. Stars streaked back into fixed points of light. Behind them, 12 Council warships were closing the distance. "They're gaining on us," Taiyang said from the pilot's seat. Sweat ran down his face. "These ships are faster than ours. They'll catch us in 20 minutes. Minho studied the tactical display. The Council ships were spread out in a hunting formation. They weren't just chasing. They were herding the defiant hope toward empty space where there would be nowhere to hide. "What about the nebula?" Minho asked. Yuna pulled up the sensor data. "The Helion Nebula is dead ahead. It's filled with charged particles and magnetic storms. Most ships can't navigate through it. Their computer systems get confused by all the interference." "Most ships," Minho repeated. "But not us?" Taiyang grinned despite the danger. "Captain, their ships are run by artificial intelligence. Perfect calculations, perfect routes. But the nebula doesn't follow perfect rules. It's chaos." He tapped his head. "Humans are good at chaos." "Do it," Minho ordered. "Take us in." The defiant hope angled toward the massive cloud of purple and blue gas that filled a huge section of space. Behind them, the Council ships accelerated. They were so close now that Minho could see them on the view screen. "They're charging weapons," Yuna warned. "Energy signatures are off the charts." "Faster, Taiyang." The young pilot's hands danced across the controls. The ship surged forward. Then the first energy blast hit their rear shields. The entire vessel rocked. Sparks flew from a control panel. "Shields at 60%, Sora's voice came from engineering. "We can't take many more hits like that." Another blast grazed their side. The lights on the bridge flickered. "Almost there," Taeyang muttered. "Come on, come on." The Defiant Hope plunged into the Helion Nebula. Immediately, alarms started blaring. The view screen filled with swirling clouds of gas. Lightning jumped between particles. The ship's sensors went haywire as magnetic fields scrambled their instruments. "I can't see anything," Yuna shouted over the alarms. "Sensors are useless." "Then we fly blind," Taeyang said. He switched off the navigation computer and took manual control. "I don't need sensors. I've got eyes." What happened next would be talked about for years. Taeyang flew the Defiant Hope through the nebula using only visual reference points. He dodged between clouds of charged gas. He threaded the ship through gaps in magnetic storms. It was flying by instinct and reaction, something no computer could do. Behind them, the Council ships tried to follow. Their artificial intelligence systems attempted to calculate safe paths through the chaos. 3 ships collided with each other as their computers gave conflicting directions. One flew straight into a magnetic storm and exploded in a ball of fire. The rest fell behind, unable to match Taeyang's unpredictable movements. "We're losing them," Yuna said with amazement in her voice. Minho watched the tactical display as the pursuing ships scattered and retreated. "Keep going. We need to find a place to hide and repair." For 2 hours, Taeyang guided them deeper into the nebula. Finally, Yuna spotted something on the few sensors that still worked. "Captain, there's a structure ahead. It's solid metal." In the middle of the nebula, Minho leaned forward. "Show me." The view screen cleared enough to reveal an ancient station floating in a calm pocket of space. It was huge, easily the size of a small city, but it looked abandoned. Parts of it were dark. Other sections showed signs of damage. "It's old," Yuna said as she scanned it. "Really old, maybe thousands of years, but it's still intact, and I'm reading atmosphere inside some sections. Any signs of life? None. It's been dead for a long time." Minho made his decision. "Taeyang, dock us with that station. We need time to repair and figure out our next move. Yuna, keep scanning for those council ships. I want to know if they get close." The Defiant Hope carefully approached the ancient station. They found a docking port that still worked and connected. As the crews prepared to explore, Minho gathered his senior officers. "Junho," he said to the Marine commander, "take a squad and secure the immediate area. I don't care how dead this place looks. We check everything." Junho Bay saluted. He was a solid man with scars on his hands from a dozen battles back on Earth. "Yes, sir. We'll make sure it's safe." 2 hours later, the station was confirmed empty, but Yuna had found something interesting. "Captain, you need to see this. The station has data archives. Old ones. Very old. But they're still accessible." Minho followed her to a room filled with alien technology. Yuna had managed to connect her portable computer to the station's ancient systems. Text scrolled across her screen in a language that looked nothing like any human writing. "Can you translate it?" Minho asked. "I'm working on it. The station has translation protocols built in. Whoever built this place wanted their data to be understood by anyone who found it." Yuna's fingers flew across her keyboard. "Got it. Translating now." What appeared on the screen made Minho's blood run cold. It was a long list of planet names, species names, and dates. Next to each entry were the same words repeated over and over. "Quarantine initiated." "There are dozens of them," Yuna whispered. "The Council has quarantined dozens of species. We weren't the first. We're not even close to the first." Minho scrolled through the list. Each entry had detailed records, Some species had been quarantined for advancing too quickly, others for being too warlike, some for reasons that seemed to make no sense at all. Look at this. Yuna pointed to several entries. These species tried to escape their quarantine zones. Just like us. What happened to them? Yuna opened those files. Her face went pale. They were destroyed. All of them. The Council sent fleets and wiped them out. Completely. There are no survivors. The room fell silent. Minho felt a weight settle on his chest. They hadn't just escaped a quarantine. They had painted a target on all of humanity. Keep reading, he said quietly. There has to be more. Yuna dug deeper into the files. What she found was even worse. Captain, the Council doesn't just quarantine dangerous species. They quarantine any species that might challenge their power, any civilization that innovates too fast or thinks too differently. They keep the galaxy under their control by preventing anyone from becoming strong enough to question them. It's not about protecting the galaxy, Minho said slowly. It's about protecting their power. Yes, and there's more. According to these files, there are other species out there, survivors from previous quarantine zones. They're hiding in the fringes of Council space. They call themselves the Remnant Coalition. Why haven't we heard of them? Because they stay hidden. The Council hunts them, but they've survived for decades by staying in places like this nebula, where Council ships can't easily follow. Minho stood up and paced. His mind was racing. They weren't alone. There were others who had been through what humanity was going through, others who knew the truth about the Council. Can we contact them? He asked. Maybe. These archives have communication protocols, old ones, but they might still work. Do it. Send out a message. Tell them who we are and that we know the truth about the Council. As Yuna worked, Communications Officer Suji Lim burst into the room. Captain, we're receiving a transmission. It's coded, not Council. Someone else is out here. Minho and Yuna exchanged glances. Put it through, a voice came over the speakers. It was rough and spoke in a language the translator struggled with. But the message was clear. Human ship, Defiant Hope, we know you are in the nebula. We have been watching. If you want to survive, come to these coordinates. We have much to discuss. The Council has been lying to you. They have been lying to everyone. The transmission ended with a set of coordinates deep in an uncharted region of space. It could be a trap, Yuna said. Minho nodded. It could be, but it could also be our only chance. We can't run forever. And if there are others out there who know the truth, we need to find them. He activated the ship-wide communications. All hands, prepare to move. We're going to meet some new friends. I hope. The coordinates led them to a system with no star, just cold space and floating asteroids. Minho ordered the Defiant Hope to approach slowly with weapons ready. If this was an ambush, they would at least go down fighting. I'm detecting multiple ships, Yuna said. Small ones. They're hidden among the asteroids. Wait, they're powering up, moving into view. 6 vessels emerged from hiding. They were strange ships, each one different from the others. Different designs, different technologies, like they came from different civilizations. They formed a loose circle around the Defiant Hope, but didn't raise weapons. We're being hailed, Suji said. Put it through. The view screen changed to show a face unlike anything Minho had ever seen. The creature had 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern on a head that was too long. Its skin was gray and covered in fine scales. When it spoke, the translator made its voice sound old and tired. I am Elder Thren of the Remnant Coalition. You are the humans who escaped quarantine. This is remarkable. Most species die in the attempt. You have done something very few have managed. I'm Captain Minho Park, Minho replied. We found records in an old station, records about other quarantined species. Your survivors? Yes. My people were quarantined 200 years ago. We escaped with only 3 ships. Now we number in the thousands, but we must stay hidden. The Council never stops hunting us. Why were you quarantined? Thren's expression was hard to read, but his voice carried bitterness. My people developed artificial intelligence that was better than Council technology. We solved problems they could not solve. We advanced too quickly. So they locked us away and told the galaxy we were dangerous. When we escaped, they tried to exterminate us. Another face appeared on the screen. This one was covered in feathers and had a sharp beak. I am Kessa. My people were quarantined for refusing Council trade agreements. They wanted our resources. We said no, so they declared us unstable and locked our entire system behind a barrier. A third face joined them, this one almost insect-like with compound eyes. I am Vex. My people were quarantined for asking too many questions about Council history. We were archaeologists. We found evidence that the Council had not always been in power, that they had taken control through force long ago. They could not allow that knowledge to spread. Minho felt anger building in his chest. How many species has the Council quarantined? We have confirmed 47, Thren said, but we believe there are more. Most die when they try to escape. The Council is very efficient at killing those who challenge them. You humans are only the 6th species to survive breaking quarantine in the last 1,000 years. Why? Minho demanded. Why does the Council do this? Thren gestured for them to follow. Come to our base. What we must show you cannot be explained with words alone. It is safer to meet face to face. The remnant ships led them deeper into the asteroid field. Hidden behind the largest rock was a hollowed-out base, invisible to sensors. The Defiant Hope docked, and Minho took Yuna, Junho, and a squad of Marines with him. The inside of the base was crowded. Hundreds of aliens from different species moved through corridors. Children played in common areas. It looked less like a military installation and more like a refugee camp. Thren met them at the airlock. Up close, he was tall and moved slowly, like someone who carried great weight. Welcome to Hope's End. We call it that because we are the last hope for our peoples. Come, I will show you the truth. He led them to a central chamber filled with holographic displays. The walls showed star maps, historical records, and battle reports. At the center was a table with a projection of the galaxy. The Council tells everyone they maintain peace, Thren began. They say quarantine is necessary to protect younger species from making dangerous mistakes. But this is a lie. The truth is simpler and more terrible. He manipulated the display. The galaxy map changed to show lines of power and control. The Council maintains control through technology suppression. They give member species just enough advanced technology to be dependent on Council systems. Food production, power generation, medical care, transportation, everything requires Council technology. Kessa stepped forward. If a species tries to develop their own advanced technology, the Council says they are moving too fast, that they need guidance. If the species refuses to slow down, the Council declares them a threat and quarantines them. It is not about danger, Vex added. It is about control. Any species that becomes truly independent is a threat to Council power, so they are removed from the equation. Yuna was studying the data displays. This is incredible and horrifying. How long has this been going on? At least 3,000 years, Thren said. Maybe longer. The Council erases history. They destroy records of civilizations they have eliminated. Most of the galaxy does not know that dozens of species have simply disappeared. Minho thought about Earth. About 600 years locked behind a barrier. Humanity developed too fast. We went from basic spaceflight to fusion reactors in 200 years. That scared them. Yes. And your tendency toward unpredictable innovation made you especially dangerous. The Council's power relies on predictability and dependence. Humans are neither predictable nor willing to depend on others. Junho had been quiet until now. What's your plan? You can't hide forever. We have been building strength, Thren said. Slowly, carefully. We have ships. We have warriors. But we are few and the Council is vast. We have been waiting for a catalyst. Something that could change the equation. You think humanity is that catalyst, Minho said. Possibly. You broke quarantine in a way that created attention. Council sensors across 3 sectors detected your breach. They cannot hide this. Other species will hear rumors. Questions will be asked. And you have something we do not have. What's that? A homeworld that still exists. Earth still has billions of humans. If you can protect it, if you can show the galaxy that a quarantined species can not only survive but thrive, it will inspire others. The Council's greatest weapon is the belief that they are invincible. You can break that belief. Minho paced around the chamber. We're just one ship. Earth is defenseless. If the Council sends a fleet, they can destroy everything. Then you must make sure Earth is not defenseless when they arrive, Kessa said. You have already done the impossible once. You must do it again. Suji, who had been recording everything, spoke up. We should contact other systems. If we can get this information to other species, show them the truth about the Council, we could turn this into a movement. Dangerous, Thren warned. The Council monitors all communications. If you broadcast openly, they will know where you are. Then we do it quietly, Yuna said. She was looking at the technical data. These communication systems you use, they're encrypted in ways Council technology can't easily crack. You've had decades to develop counter-surveillance methods. Share those with us. Thren looked at the other remnant leaders. They had a silent conversation with gestures and expressions Minho couldn't read. Finally, Thren nodded. We will help you. We will share our technology and knowledge. In return, you must do something for us. The Council has a major intelligence hub in the Krell sector. It contains files on every quarantined species, proof of their lies going back centuries. If you can raid that facility and steal those files, we can expose the Council's crimes to the entire galaxy. That's a suicide mission, Junho said flatly. Yes, Thren agreed. But it is necessary. Without proof, this is just a rumor. With those files, we can start a revolution. Minho looked at his crew. Yuna was already thinking through the technical challenges. Junho was calculating attack plans. Suji was figuring out how to spread information across the galaxy. We'll do it, Minho said. But first, I need to contact Earth. Admiral Song needs to know everything we've learned. She needs to start preparing for war. Thren provided access to a secure communication array. Minho spent an hour recording everything they had discovered. He encrypted the message using codes only Earth military would recognize and sent it across the vast distance to the Sol system. Admiral Song, this is Minho. What we thought was a quarantine is actually oppression on a galactic scale. The Council has been lying for thousands of years. They don't keep species locked up for safety. They do it to maintain power. We've found allies, survivors from other quarantined worlds. We're going to strike back. But Earth needs to prepare. Start building ships, train crews, develop weapons. When the Council comes for us, and they will come, we need to be ready to fight. This isn't just about humanity anymore. This is about freeing the entire galaxy from tyranny. The revolution starts now. He sent the message and turned to Thren. Show us everything. Your ships, your weapons, your tactics. We have a lot to learn and not much time. Thren smiled, which looked strange on his alien face. Then let us begin. The Council has ruled through fear for long enough. It is time they learn to fear us. Back in the Sol system, Admiral Hana Song received Minho's message in her office on Mars Station. She listened to it 3 times, each time feeling the weight of what it meant grow heavier. The Council hadn't just imprisoned humanity. They had been doing this to civilizations across the galaxy for thousands of years. And now Earth had painted a target on itself by breaking free. Hana called an emergency meeting with Earth's military leadership. Engineers, scientists, tacticians, and politicians crowded into the secure conference room. She played Minho's message for all of them. Silence filled the room when it ended. Finally, Engineer Sora Nam spoke. If what Captain Park says is true, we don't have much time. The Council will eventually decide to make an example of us. How long? Hana asked. Months, maybe weeks. They'll need to gather a fleet large enough to guarantee our destruction, but they'll come. Then we prepare for war. Hana stood and activated the holographic display in the center of the room. Earth, Mars, and the asteroid belt appeared in 3 dimensions. Captain Park's ship proved the barrier can be breached. We need to replicate that technology and bring the entire barrier down. That's incredibly dangerous, Sora said. The barrier is powered by stations in orbit around the sun. If we destabilize it incorrectly, the energy backlash could destroy half the solar system. Can it be done safely? Sora thought for a moment. If we place breach devices at 200 precise points around the barrier and activate them simultaneously, the field should collapse without exploding. But we'd need perfect timing. We're talking about microsecond precision across billions of kilometers. Make it happen. What else do we need? Ships, said Admiral Kim. Lots of ships. We have the designs from the Defiant Hope. We can build more, but it takes time. How many can we have ready in 3 months? If we use every shipyard, every factory, and work around the clock, maybe 200, 300 if we cut corners. Cut corners, Hana ordered. These ships don't need to last years. They need to last 1 battle. What about weapons? Council ships have superior shields and firepower, Kim said. In a straight fight, they'll win. Then we don't fight straight. Humanity's advantage has always been creativity and unpredictability. We need tactics the Council won't expect. While Earth prepared for war, Minho and the Defiant Hope were training with the Remnant Coalition. Thren had opened their entire database of Council ship designs, tactics, and weaknesses. Junho's Marines practiced fighting in zero gravity with Remnant warriors. The aliens were impressed by human flexibility and improvisation. Humans learned Remnant combat techniques that had been developed over decades of guerrilla warfare. Taiyang worked with Remnant pilots, sharing the human approach to flying. Your people are too cautious, he told a young Remnant pilot named Rix. You calculate every move. Sometimes you need to trust your instincts and react. That sounds reckless. It is, but reckless works when the enemy expects you to be careful. Yuna was deep in technical collaboration with Vex and other Remnant scientists. They were developing something new, a computer virus specifically designed to attack Council ship systems. Council ships rely on networked artificial intelligence, Vex explained. All their ships in a fleet are connected to share tactical data. This makes them very coordinated, but it also creates vulnerability. If we can infect one ship, the virus spreads to the entire fleet, Yuna said, understanding immediately. We could disable dozens of ships at once. Exactly. But we need to get close enough to upload it. Very close. Leave that to us, Minho said. He had been listening to their work. I have an idea. 3 weeks after arriving at Hope's End, Minho gathered his senior staff and the Remnant leaders. It's time to raid the Council Intelligence Hub, he announced. We've learned everything we can here. Now we need proof, evidence we can spread across the galaxy. Thren displayed a hologram of the target. The Krell Intelligence Hub orbits a gas giant in Council Core territory. It is heavily defended. 12 warships on constant patrol, defense platforms with long-range weapons, and the facility itself has shields that can withstand sustained bombardment. We're not going to bombard it, Minho said. We're going to sneak in. How? Kessa asked, skeptically. The Council thinks quarantined species are primitives. They've been watching us run and hide. They don't expect us to attack one of their core facilities. Minho pointed to the patrol routes on the display. These warships follow predictable patterns. We wait for a gap and slip through. The defense platforms will detect any ship, Vex pointed out. Any ship broadcasting normal identification codes, Yuna corrected. But what if we're broadcasting Council codes? We have the specifications for their systems. I can build a false identifier that will make us look like a Council supply vessel. Thren considered this. Risky. If they scan too deeply, they'll see through the deception. Then we make sure they don't have time to scan deeply, Junho said. We dock fast, my Marines breach the facility, we grab the data, and we're gone before they realize what happened. You make it sound simple, Kessa said. It is simple. Simple doesn't mean easy. They spent 2 more weeks planning every detail. Finally, the Defiant Hope departed with a small remnant task force. 6 ships total, each with a specific role. The journey to the Krell system took 5 days. As they approached, Yuna activated the false identification codes. To Council sensors, they would appear to be a routine supply convoy. Approaching the patrol perimeter, Taeyang reported. Council warships are holding position. They haven't reacted to us. Keep steady. Don't do anything that looks suspicious. They crossed into Council-controlled space. The defense platforms tracked them but didn't fire. Minho could barely breathe. If this went wrong, they would be obliterated in seconds. We're receiving an automated hail, Suji said. Standard supply verification protocol. Respond with the prepared codes, Minho ordered. Suji sent the fake authorization. Seconds stretched into eternity. Then the response came back. Supply convoy confirmed. Proceed to docking port 7. They were in. The Defiant Hope approached the massive intelligence hub. It was a sprawling structure of metal and crystal, bristling with sensors and communication arrays. Somewhere inside was information that could change everything. They docked without incident. As soon as the connection was secure, Junho and 40 Marines stormed into the facility. They moved fast, using remnant-provided maps to navigate the corridors. Council personnel barely had time to react. Most weren't warriors. They were technicians and analysts. Junho's team disabled them with stun weapons and secured the main data center in under 4 minutes. We're in, Junho reported, but they've triggered alarms. We don't have much time. Yuna was already at a data terminal, her fingers flying across alien keyboards. I need 3 minutes to copy everything. You have 2, Minho said. Those warships will be here soon. Outside, the remnant ships engaged the defense platforms, drawing attention away from the Defiant Hope. Explosions lit up space as the battle intensified. 1 minute, Yuna said. Download progress crept across her screen. 80%, 90%. Council warships are breaking formation, Taeyang warned. They're coming for us. Come on, Yuna muttered. 100%. Got it. I have everything. Move, Minho ordered. Junho's Marines ran back to the ship. The last Marine was barely through the airlock when Taeyang undocked and fired engines at maximum power. 3 Council warships were closing fast, weapons charging. The Defiant Hope couldn't outrun them. Now, Yuna, Minho shouted. Yuna activated the virus. It uploaded through the communication network connecting all Council ships. For a moment, nothing happened. Then all 3 pursuing warships suddenly went dark. Their engines cut out, their weapons powered down. They drifted helplessly in space. The virus worked, Yuna cheered. Their systems are completely frozen. The Defiant Hope and the remnant ships jumped to faster-than-light speed, leaving the chaos behind. Back at Hope's End, Yuna spent hours going through the stolen data. What she found exceeded their wildest expectations. Complete records of every quarantined species, evidence of Council war crimes. lists of officials who had ordered the destruction of entire civilizations, communication logs showing the Council's true intentions. "This is it," she said to Minho. "This is everything we need, proof that cannot be denied." Diplomat Narration had been working with Suji to establish secret communication networks. Now they began spreading the stolen files across the galaxy. They sent them to independent systems, to news networks, to rival political factions within Council space itself. Within days, the information began to leak publicly. Council officials tried to deny it, but the evidence was too detailed, too comprehensive. Species that had trusted the Council began asking questions. Systems that had been loyal for centuries started to doubt. Across the galaxy, the carefully maintained lie began to crumble. On Earth, Admiral Hana received news of the successful raid. She also received something else, a message from the Council's High Chancellor. "This is High Chancellor Draxus to the Sol system. You have committed acts of war against the Galactic Council. You have stolen classified information and spread propaganda. You have allied with terrorists and fugitives. The Council has voted. The final sanction has been authorized. In 30 days, a fleet of 500 warships will arrive at Earth. Your species will be eliminated as a warning to all others who would challenge Council authority. You have this time to surrender. If you do not, every human will die." Hana listened to the message, then deleted it. She activated her communications array and sent a response. Not to the Council, but to Minho. "We're bringing down the barrier in 72 hours. If you want to save Earth, bring everyone you can. Tell the Remnant Coalition. Tell everyone you've contacted. Humanity stands together, and we're done running." The Grand Armada arrived at the Sol system like a storm made of metal and fire. 500 Council warships, the largest fleet assembled in a century, spread across space in perfect formation. High Chancellor Draxus commanded from his flagship, a massive vessel 3 kilometers long, bristling with weapons. "Begin scanning," Draxus ordered. His voice was cold and mechanical. He had eliminated 3 quarantined species before. This would be his 4th. "I want to know every ship, every station, every weapon they have." The reports came back quickly. "Chancellor, sensors show unusual activity throughout the system. Multiple energy spikes. They appear to be placing devices along the quarantine barrier." "They're trying to bring it down," Draxus realized. "How long?" 30 minutes until they can activate, based on power signatures." "Then we attack now. All ships, advance. Destroy anything that moves. Target Earth first. We will make this quick." The Grand Armada surged forward, but as they approached, something unexpected happened. The quarantine barrier, which had stood for 600 years, suddenly collapsed. Not in an explosion, but in a cascade of fading light. The prison walls simply disappeared. And behind those walls, Earth had been busy. Admiral Hana stood on the bridge of the new flagship Liberator and smiled grimly. "The barrier is down. All ships, this is Admiral Song. Today we fight for humanity's freedom. Today we show the Council that we will not be caged. All ships, engage." From Earth, Mars, the asteroid belt, and the outer planets, 300 human warships powered up and moved to intercept. They were new ships, built in desperate haste over 3 months, but they were armed and crewed by people who had nothing left to lose. Behind the human fleet came reinforcements. The Remnant Coalition had sent every ship they could spare. Thren's people, Kessa's warriors, Vex's scouts, and dozens of other aliens from species the Council had tried to erase. In total, nearly 200 ships from across the galaxy had come to stand with humanity. "They have allies," Draxus said, surprised for the first time. "The Remnant filth are here," he sneered. "No matter. They are outnumbered. All weapons, open fire." The Battle of Sol began. Space filled with energy beams, missiles, and explosions. Council ships had superior firepower, and their opening volley destroyed a dozen human vessels in seconds. But the humans didn't fight the way the Council expected. Taiyang led a squadron of 50 fighters in a wild, unpredictable attack pattern. They didn't follow standard tactics. They split apart, regrouped, and attacked from impossible angles. Council targeting computers struggled to predict their movements. "They fight like chaos itself," one Council commander reported in frustration. "Chaos can be defeated with order," Draxus responded. "Maintain formation. Continue firing." But Sora had spent 3 months preparing surprises. Hidden throughout the asteroid belt were magnetic mines disguised as space rocks. When Council ships flew past, the mines activated and attached to their hulls. 20 Council vessels were disabled before they realized what was happening. On the Defiant Hope, Minho coordinated with both human and remnant forces. Group 7, flank left. Group 12, draw their fire while Group 3 attacks from below. Don't let them settle into formation. Yuna was uploading the virus into every Council ship they came close to. One by one, enemy vessels went dark as their computer systems froze. It was chaos for the Council. They had never fought an enemy that used such disorder as a weapon. Junho's Marines boarded disabled Council ships and fought through corridors in brutal close combat. The Council soldiers were trained and disciplined, but they had never faced enemies who fought with human ferocity. Junho's team captured 3 ships in the first hour of battle, but the Council's numbers were overwhelming. For every enemy ship destroyed or disabled, there were 3 more. Human casualties mounted. The Liberator took a direct hit and lost power to half its systems. "We can't hold them," Hana admitted to her tactical officer. "They're too many." Then something changed. Across the galaxy, the information Nari had spread began to have effects. Systems that had seen the stolen files started to question their orders. On 50 Council ships scattered through the Grand Armada, crews began to hesitate. One captain, an alien named Rethus from a species that had always trusted the Council, received new information on his personal screen. It was the stolen data, showing that his own species had been quarantined 2,000 years ago. The Council had hidden this history from them for generations. Rethus stared at the data. Everything he believed was a lie. He made a choice. "Helm, pull us out of formation, we're leaving." His crew looked at him in shock. "Sir, I will not fight for a Council built on lies. Any who wish to come with me, now is the time. Those who want to stay, I will not stop you." Not a single crew member left. The ship broke formation and jumped away. On another ship, a different captain saw the same information. She made the same choice. Then another and another. Within 30 minutes, 50 Council ships had deserted. Some jumped away. Some simply stopped fighting. A few even turned their weapons against their former allies. High Chancellor Draxus watched his perfect armada fracture. "This is impossible," he hissed. "Maintain order. Anyone who retreats will be branded a traitor." But the damage was done. Doubt had infected the fleet like a plague. Minho saw the opening. "All ships, press the attack! They're breaking!" The combined human and remnant forces surged forward with renewed energy. They targeted Council ships that were hesitating, forcing them to choose sides. More and more chose to stop fighting. Draxus realized he was losing control. "All ships, focus fire on the human flagship. If we kill their leader, the rest will surrender." 100 Council vessels turned their weapons toward the Liberator. Energy beams converged on the ship from all directions. "Shields failing!" Hana's tactical officer shouted. "We need to jump out!" "No," Hana said firmly. "If we run, they win. All power to forward shields. Give me everything you have." The Liberator shuddered under the bombardment. Hull plating melted, systems exploded, but the ship held. "Now," Hana ordered. "Fire everything!" The Liberator unleashed every weapon it had at once. Missiles, energy beams, kinetic rounds, all aimed at the Council flagship where Draxus commanded. Draxus saw the attack coming, but it was too late to evade. Shields to maximum! The combined firepower overwhelmed the flagship's defenses. Explosions rippled across its hull. The massive ship broke apart, splitting in two. High Chancellor Draxus died still giving orders. Without their leader, the Council fleet fell into complete disarray. Some ships tried to continue fighting. Most retreated. A few surrendered. The battle that was supposed to be a quick execution had turned into a disaster for the Council. Minho broadcast on all frequencies. Council forces, hear me. Your Chancellor is dead. Your fleet is broken. But we don't want to kill you. We want freedom. For humanity. For the remnant species, and for all the civilizations the Council has oppressed. Stand down. Go home. Tell your people what happened here. Tell them the quarantine was always a lie. Slowly, the fighting stopped. Council ships limped away or powered down their weapons. The Battle of Sol was over. The cost had been terrible. 70 human ships destroyed. Over 10,000 dead. But Earth still stood. Humanity was still free. 6 months later, the galaxy had changed completely. The Galactic Council dissolved under the weight of revealed crimes and internal rebellion. A new government formed called the Federation of Free Systems, built on principles of equality and mutual respect. Minho stood on Earth looking up at the night sky. So many stars, all of them open to humanity now. Admiral Hana stood beside him. You did it. You freed us all. We did it, Minho corrected. All of us together. Yuna approached with news. Captain, we've received a transmission from the Outer Rim. Another quarantined species detected our broadcasts. They're trying to escape their barrier. They're asking for help. Minho smiled. He had been expecting this. How long until the Defiant Hope is ready to launch? 2 days. We've upgraded her with new weapons and shields. She's better than ever. Good. Minho turned to Hana. Earth doesn't need me anymore, but there are others out there who do. Others still trapped in cages. Hana nodded. Go. Free them. That's what the Defiant Hope was built for. 2 days later, Minho stood on his ship's bridge once more. Tai Yang was at the helm, ready to fly. Yuna was at her science station. Junho's Marines were in the hold. Suji was at communications. The crew was together again. Set course, Minho ordered. We have work to do. The Defiant Hope lifted from Earth and accelerated into space. As they approached the edge of the solar system, Minho thought about his daughter. About the little girl who had died because the Council refused to help. This is for you, Hana, he whispered. The galaxy is finally free. The ship jumped to faster-than-light speed and disappeared among the stars. Behind them, Earth shone bright and proud, no longer a prisoner, but a beacon of hope for the entire galaxy. Humanity had escaped the quarantine zone. And nothing would ever be the same. In the ruins of the Council headquarters, Nari was helping establish the new Federation government. She had become Earth's first official ambassador, working to build lasting peace between species. On Mars, Sora was teaching alien engineers human innovation techniques. Together, they were developing technology that had been suppressed for thousands of years. Across the galaxy, the old quarantine zones were being dismantled. Species that had been locked away for centuries were finally free to join the greater community. They looked to humanity as an example of what courage and determination could achieve. The Council had believed that control through fear was the only way to maintain order. They had been wrong. True order came from freedom, cooperation, and the courage to stand up against injustice. Humanity had proven that even the strongest cage could be broken, that even the most powerful oppressor could be defeated, and that sometimes The most dangerous thing in the universe wasn't chaos or innovation or rapid advancement. It was the simple, unbreakable human refusal to accept that anything was impossible. The quarantine was over. The revolution had succeeded, and a new era had begun. Among the stars, the defiant hope raced toward another trapped species, carrying a message of liberation. Minho watched the galaxy scroll past and smiled. "We're coming," he said to the unknown species waiting for rescue. "Hold on just a little longer. Humanity remembers what it's like to be caged. And we're here to set you free." The ship jumped again, disappearing into the infinite darkness, carrying hope to those who had none. The story of humanity's escape would be told for generations, not as a tale of war and destruction, but as a reminder that freedom is worth fighting for, that courage can overcome any obstacle, and that sometimes the prisoners are the ones who have to teach the jailers what justice really means. Earth had been trapped for 600 years, but in breaking free, humanity hadn't just saved themselves. They had started a revolution that would transform the entire galaxy. And it all began with one ship, one crew, and one captain who refused to accept the word impossible. The end of the quarantine was just the beginning of something greater. A galaxy where every species had the right to grow, innovate, and chart their own destiny. A galaxy where fear no longer dictated policy. A galaxy where freedom was not a privilege granted by the powerful, but a right defended by the brave. Humanity had given the galaxy that gift, and the galaxy would never forget.